Welcome to Big Money Sales Moves, the podcast for powerhouse coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs who are ready to scale with confidence and consistent cash flow. I'm your host, Karissa Adkins, speaker, author, and creator of the $1 Million Sales Matrix. Here is where we break through the industry lies that keep women overworked and underpaid. Say goodbye to bro tactics and burnout, and hello to alpha queen strategies. Sales, premium client attraction, and CEO level leadership that makes scaling simpler, faster, and more profitable. If you're ready to step into your $1 million era and make your next big money move, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up? Welcome back, queens. Welcome back to another badass episode of Big Money Sales Moves, the space where we talk identity and sales and strategy and all of those juicy internal recalibrations that are required to lead, sell, and scale as a sovereign, self-led woman in business. I cannot believe we have two more, not including today, of course, two more episodes in this show before the brand new year. I cannot believe it. It's crazy. Well, the holidays are here, and so are the goals and intentions, I'm sure, as you're starting to kind of think about that. So as we close out the year and step boldly into 2026, there's one conversation that every woman in business is probably having or thinking about, whether consciously or not. Their goals, their intentions, their identity, and their expansion. And here's what I want you to hear before we go any further in today's show. This episode is not about setting bigger goals. It's about becoming the woman who can hold the goals, who can actually achieve them. So whether you're a woman building her foundation or a woman already holding the weight and the responsibility and the influence, this conversation meets you exactly where you're at, because today I'm teaching you the ABC goal system, which is a framework I taught privately at our November Alpha Queen retreat that we just got done with. And it completely shifted how a lot of our clients map out success and expansion and leadership. And most women are not failing at their goals because they're inconsistent or undisciplined. They're failing because they're setting goals from the wrong type of an identity. And that stops right here today, okay? All right, so by the end of this episode, you're going to fully understand why goals don't work for most women in business, how to break any goal into small, actionable milestones, and why ABC goals and not SMART goals or vision boards. And more importantly, why your C goals are what activates your destiny. And yes, I'll be sharing my own C goal with you today. So this is one that took me from having no idea how it was all going to work out, how I was ever going to impact over 5 million lives, to speaking to 23,000 young women and men in Kenya, writing a book, preparing for our March event, and stepping into a film. So everything is so juicy, and it's always working out in our favor. And literally, the timing is so divine. I never force, I always trust. So yeah, I want to start off with some real talk. Okay, so get your pen and paper out, because you know how I roll. I know I'm a no bullshit kind of mentor, and I love to always give it to you straight. So the real talk I want to start with is the part of the conversation that most industry leaders avoid. Most women fail with goals because they are setting them and from pressure and not power. Okay, so I want to talk about some of the major problems that I see when women are trying to set goals for themselves, especially when, with the upcoming new year and the season. And it's kind of a good hit the reset type of feeling. I get it. Although I'm telling you right now, y'all, my 12-month goals and visions are always set in October, because everything that me and my company are creating for the next year needs to be talked about in October and November, so that we can actually create the thing, right? The tech stack, the copy, like all of the things this year, so that when Q1 rolls out, we are ready to rock and roll. We are no longer, reactive. We are very proactive. And that is absolutely how I like to run my company, is very, from that place of alignment, ease, flow, and preactiveness. Okay. So a couple of problems that I see happening in the industry with leaders and women is, problem number one is that Goals are set from survival mode. New women in business often set their goals from fear, right? Like if I'm in the DMs and I'm talking to a lady and I'm like, so what are your goals or your intentions for the next 6 or 7 months? And they're like, oh my God, I need clients. I need money. I need this to work out. You hear that common little word in there? Need, N-E-E-D? Ugh. This tells me automatically that their goals are probably rooted in survival and fear. Okay. Now, when I'm talking to established CEOs, they often set goals from obligation, right? They said, I need this because I need to make team payroll, revenue targets, next launch, like all of these things, right? And although they sound better, because like most baby entrepreneurs and baby coaches are trying to get to the point where they even have a team that supports them and that they're actually talking about revenue targets that they want to hit in their next launches, that's still based on survival. Okay, survival-based goals are outsourced goals. They are created by fear and pressure and comparison or expectations, not by a woman anchored in her own authority. And when your goals aren't rooted in self-leadership, they feel heavy straight from day one. Like you set the goal, but like some part of you is like, oh my God, I still don't even know. Like, oh, right? There's so much like heaviness and pressure to actually go out and achieve that goal. Okay. So that's kind of problem number one, is I see this a lot is, entrepreneurs and leaders setting goals from survival mode. We need to hit this because we need to be able to do A, B, and C. Either way are rooted in survival, and either way don't feel good. All right, problem number two that I see is that there's no structure. Oh my God. All they have is vibes. Like vibes like, oh, I want 10K months. I want to grow my audience. I want to be more consistent. Okay, and that's well, and that's great, but what does that actually mean? Right? There's no milestones, there's no clarity, there's no no plan to get there. And goals without structure aren't goals, they're just fantasies. And fantasies don't move power, okay? They don't create the massive impact that so many of us as women felt that we are here to do, right? And lead. So what does? Self-leadership does. Okay. So we have to create some structure with when it comes to our goals, and it all starts with structure around ourselves, self-leadership. Okay. Problem number three that I see is another common problem is that you're setting goals that are just too safe. And this is one nobody wants to admit, but most women only set goals that they know they can hit. And if you're asking why, well, because goals that they know they can hit feel safe, right? And safe goals don't require you to change who you are. Safe goals don't stretch us into new identities. Safe goals don't expand, our nervous system. They don't expand our capacity. They don't ask you to lead differently. Safe goals keep you very comfortable, but comfort was never created for a queen. Okay. And queens have never created their epic missions and movements out of comfort. I've never known a single woman that I've ever worked with that's like, yeah, I'm just cruising in the comfort lane and I've totally hit my impact goal. Like, hell no, I've literally never met someone who did that, including myself, right? Like, my goals are so freaking juicy and huge and massive that they kind of scare the shit out of me. And that's kind of cool because I know it's going to stretch me this year. I know it's going to stretch me. Okay, so a couple more problems, and then we'll kind of dive into the conversation. And guys, it's important to talk about these problems because once we're aware which problem we tend to lean into, then we can obviously start to shift that, right? We can shift from problem to solution. Okay, so problem number four is confusion and tension with goals, right? To me, intentions are definitely different than goals, just a little bit, right? Intentions for me are more energetic based. Goals are measurable. Intention sounds like I want more peace. I crave alignment. I want expansion. I'm stepping into explosiveness, right? Those are like intentions, and those are great, right? Like I said, I think we need both, but we also need goals. Okay. And we need measurable goals. Okay. So these energetic intentions, These are more frequencies, not outcomes. Goals require structure. Intentions guide the energy you carry while achieving them. Okay. So when women blur the two, everything kind of becomes foggy and momentum starts to disappear. All right. Problem number 5 is there's zero daily integration. So amazing, right? You set a goal on January 1st, you set your powerful intentions, and you then never look at them again. There's no daily embodiment. There's no weekly reflection. There's no system for reinforcements. Then disappointment starts to set in when you're like a couple of months in, and it's typically around the end of February. We're like, oh my God, I've not even touched that. I don't even know where those goals that I set for myself are. Like, oh, what do I got to do, right? And we start to blame ourselves. We start to feel guilty for why we're not starting these goals. And then that internal, like, energetic bullshit shit just keeps sucking you down, right? But the system failed, not you, right? You didn't set up the system, the day-to-day activities that are going to actually help you integrate, your goals in with the day-to-day activities. Okay. So, what is the solution that I want to talk about today? The solution is what I like to call the ABC goal system. This is not just a goal setting method. This is a self leadership framework for women who are no longer available for burnout, who are no longer available for chaos, and who are no longer freaking available for playing small. Okay, so if that's you and you're like, yes, I know, I'm playing small and I feel burnt out and my life always feels chaotic. Well, then we need to start looking at your self-leadership. Okay. So let's talk about the ABC goals. So A goals, and if you're writing this down, just put A goals, right? The letter A. And I want to talk first about what A type goals are. These are goals that you know you can achieve. I know I can achieve this goal. Why? Because you've probably already achieved it at some point in your life. A type goals create stability. They are predictable, they are doable, and they are confidence building. So for a woman and early in business, right, baby entrepreneurs, this might look like I want to be posting consistently. I want to sign 1 to 2 aligned clients. I want to host 4 workshops this year. I want to send out 2 weekly emails. Okay, so that's for like a baby coach. Those are really good A type goals, right? They're predictable, they're doable, they're confidence building. Now, goals for more of a CEO, a seasoned coach, or an entrepreneur who's kind of definitely moved out of the day-to-day grind and that hustle mentality and is more of a CEO in her company. These goals may sound like maintaining reoccurring revenue, right? Where we're like, okay, I want to maintain my monthly MRR. Maybe their A-type goals are clean team communications. Maybe it's, I want to set up the system so that we can consistently produce, right? So A goals regulate your nervous system. They teach your body it is safe to be consistent. And we do need some A-type goals. So then that leads me to B-type goals. Okay. And B-type goals is more of a, I can do this if I lead differently, right? So B goals are more of those stretch goals. They require better planning, stronger leadership, cleaner system. Okay, so some examples for some of these would be hiring support, speaking on larger stages, building the infrastructure so that we can create the 20, 30, and $100,000 months. B goals build capacity, right? Because everyone wants to say, oh my God, I want 10K, 20K, $100,000 months. Everyone says, oh, it would be so amazing to have 10, 20, 30 new clients this month. But I'm like, girl, can you even hold that capacity for that, right? Do you even have the time in your schedule for this? And if not, what are the things that we need to put into place now so that we can? Okay, everyone wants to build so quickly, but I'm like, girl, if you build quickly without building the capacity, without the systems, the processes, the automations, I guarantee your empire will crumble around year 3 or 4 because you will be so freaking tired of hustling your ass off, constantly chasing your tail. Okay. So again, beagles are important because beagles build capacity. All right. So then we have seagulls. Okay. Now, seagulls are kind of like I have no freaking idea how this is going to happen. Have you ever set goals like that where you're like, something is telling me that I'm meant for more. Maybe you just did a meditation and you're like, you got this beautiful download that came in, but you're like, how, right? You kind of came up out of meditation and you kind of stared at your paper and you were like, holy shit, I just got the epic vision, right? The vision that really is going to take me into the next era of my expansion. And I have no idea how this is going to happen. Now, what I love about seagulls is that first off, they're not business goals. They are identity declarations. They're more goals that kind of force movement creation, massive impact on a different level. They don't make logical sense, but they do make soul sense. You guys getting what I'm putting down? Right? Like A goals are great. B goals are like, yeah, this can happen if this happens, right? I can hit 20K months if I set up the systems. I can, hit 30K months if I hire the VA. I can do this if I have this right system. And that's great. We need that. Right. And then the baby goals, the A goals are like, yeah, this is what I'm focused in on daily so that it actually leads me to the bigger goal. So seagulls are kind of like coming from a place of extraordinary thinking. They do not make logical sense, but they do make soul sense. Like something in your soul desires more impact, more income, more movement, more of, something even better, even juicier. And this is where quantum leaps happen. This is where alignment accelerates. And this is where women stop asking for permission and start responding to her calling, her divine blueprint that God and source and universe gave her. Like they put this blueprint inside of us. And so many of us women have like watered that down and we've chosen to play small because society has kind of shaped us to think like that. But some C type goals are like 100K months. I mean, if you've never done a 100K month, that would be like a C goal for you, right? You're like, I have no freaking idea how this is going to happen. Maybe a C type goal is I want to speak internationally this year. Again, you have no idea how it's going to happen. Maybe a C type goal is, you know what? I've been called to write a book and I want to put my stories and my wisdom and my lessons out into the world. Yet I've never written, a chapter in a book, let alone a full book. A C type goal is building a movement, something that you've been called to do. Maybe a coach activated something deep within you that said, I believe that you're meant for something bigger. And this is what I see for you. What do you see for yourself? And then all of a sudden you start thinking from this place of expansion, right? This extraordinary level of thinking. This is what I love to do to my clients is I love to help them think extraordinary, think beyond possibility. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I'm here to lead, X type of movement, right? And they become so freaking rooted in their passion and their purpose and what it really truly excites them. Another example would maybe be a film or a documentary, right? So C goals require one thing. They require a deep sense of belief in yourself. They require bravery. They require trust. They require nervous system expansion, frequency uploading, right? The thing with seagulls, ladies, and we're going to take a break here in just like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and we'll come back to it, I promise. But the thing with seagulls is that we don't chase them because they're so epically huge that you have to just dive into trust. Right? You have to just say, okay, this is where, like, this is the North Star. This is the direction I'm heading. And now I have to sit back and let go and let in. I have to trust. I have to become the woman who can actually receive all the opportunities that are going to have to line up in order for the seagull to happen. So, What is my epic C goal and how did this all evolve? I'm going to share that with you when we get back from taking this short break. Ladies, I'll be right back. All right, ladies, we are back with a powerful conversation around goal setting. And this goes way beyond SMART goals, and NLP goals and all of those things. We actually just got done talking about the difference between A, B, and C goals and why we kind of need all of them, right? A goals are goals that are like those daily or those weekly or monthly goals that we know we can kind of hit and focus in on. Those are like stepping stones to the B goals that we're like, okay, if I do A, B, and C, I will get X, Y, and Z. So we're kind of diving deeper into the C goals because, guys, this is where magic happens. This is where women stop playing small and they truly give themselves permission to dream big, to think bigger, to come from a place of expansion rather than what they think can happen. So these C-type goals are really truly based on what your soul desires, what your heart says you're meant for, and what God put you on this earth to do. So I just kind of got done talking about the difference and why we need them. So if you miss, any of that, go back and listen to it, take notes because you're going to want it. But I kind of want to dive into an example of what my C goals have been like over the last couple of years. So I want to first take you back to 2023. I was at an event, right? I don't even like calling this thing the event because it was more like a lived through experience. And it was one that my coach put on, and it was a 3-day, experience for expansion, leadership expansion. And it was about 8 o'clock at night, and there was this beautiful breath work movement healer in the room, and we were all laying on these mats. I mean, imagine 200 heart-led leaders laying on the floor doing breath work. And so there I am laying on the floor, right? And we're getting into this beautiful hypnotic state, this trance-like state, if you will, using our breath, right? Using oxygen and like all of the very natural things. And so there I am laying on the mat, and all of a sudden, right? Well, let me actually back it up really quick. So before this experience, I thought I was here to change the next 3 generations of women's lives, meaning my daughter's life, whatever bullshit, whatever drama, whatever trauma that I've experienced and my entire family ahead of me has experienced, right? We've got obesity, poverty, divorce, like all of these things, right? These generational things that tend to follow a lot of generations until a woman says, not today, right? It stops with me. So I've already had several of those moments. Um, and uh, and of course, I've had these moments, and I thought I was here to lead the next 3 generations of lives, right? Because once it stops with me, the trauma stops with me. My daughter will no longer experience it. My granddaughter will no longer experience, right? So all I could kind of see was a 3 generational shift. So there I am laying on the mat, and I go into this trance-like state. My body is literally like shaking. I'm feeling like I'm fully elevated off the ground. It was a magical experience, consciously aware of that, but unconsciously in this beautiful trance. And so yeah, there I am. And I'm having this experience where I go into my past and I literally relive the past 7 generations of women's lives in my history. Okay. And then all of a sudden, after experiencing this, I jump into the next 5 generations of women ahead of me because the chain broke with me. Does that make sense? So there I am living these experiences that I have never, ever even thought could imagine. Okay. So what happened is that I came out of that experience that particular night, and I was like, holy crap. I am playing small. Here I thought I was supposed to lead a movement for the next 2 or 3 generations. I'm actually here to change the next 5 generations of lives. Now, that was the vision that came in, right? That divine download. It was not up to me to say, how can I do this? It was up to me to say, okay, who do I need to be in order for me to expand into the leader that I need to be in order for me to even make those types of changes? Okay. So I want to fast forward, and because I had no idea, why the C goals, you have to completely let go of the how it's all going to work out. You totally have to lean into the trust and let go of all of the shitty thinking and the programming that's created the current version of you. And you have to totally lead from this future version identity of you. Okay. So that like it goes beyond just that moment, right? Because of that, I have spoken on stage internationally. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people in a year's time, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So, why do we need all three goals? Well, A goals create momentum, B goals stretch you, C goals transform you. There is the Trinity, right? A grounds you in, B grows you, and C initiates something deep within you. And this is the 2026 Alpha Queen Framework. It's built on sovereign decision making, embodied leadership, and identity led expansion. So, I actually have a really fun itty bitty milestone method that I like to teach my clients when it comes to their goals, right? Because when we talk about whatever goals you're creating, you do need to, I always say, start at the back end and work your way back, right? You should know the minute you set this goal, what you need to do every day, every week, every month, and even hour in order for you to achieve that goal. So that's what I call the itty bitty milestone method. And this is what I teach my clients how to do. So if you're interested in that, just hit me up with a DM, shoot me an email, connect with me on social, and I will definitely share that itty bitty milestone method with you. Okay. So before I leave here today, I'm going to close you out with some mindset shifts, right, for 2026. So you don't need clarity. You need courage. You don't get the goal first. You become the woman who can even achieve that goal first. Big goals require simple, clean habits. Your nervous system must feel safe expanding, and alignment creates acceleration. So, there you have it, ladies. If today's episode activated something deep within you, if you are ready to set those goals and more importantly, expand your identity, not just your to-do list in 2026, then your next steps are simple. One, join us inside the Rise app. This is where we integrate this work daily: identity, leadership, nervous system regulation, and aligned execution so that your goals don't just live on paper, stuffed in a notebook somewhere. They actually live in your body and you're thinking about them all the time. Okay. The links are in the show notes to that and a couple of other resources that I have for you. And until next week, ladies, lead yourself first and everything else will follow. I love you, and I will see you next week on another Big Money Sales Moves show. Bye for now. That's a wrap for today's episode of Big Money Sales Moves. Say goodbye to hustle and grind and burnout, and hello to ethical sales and Alpha Queen strategies. If you're ready to master high-ticket sales, scale your business, or grow your empire, head on over to www.alphaqueencollective.com and make your next big money move today.